Hello everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. This is the big announcement that I was talking about for this weekend, and this is regards to a tool system. Now, I've been getting channeled a lot that my purpose here is to improve calibration of the downloads of information that we get from our sun, which is our source of energy, which is all to do with Ascension. Okay, our source of energy, which is our sun, not the sun, our sun, is creating trying to create light activations while it continues to evolve so we can evolve with it. That's the whole thing about Ascension. And the issue is, though, there are two parts into our reality and what we are as a human, but that's a topic for another time. What I can briefly say is that this matrix reality that we're in, which the other word for that is the collective consciousness, is a grid or a network that is lowering our vibration and actually placing areas of our body and our being into a density or level of energy that makes it very hard for these downloads that are coming from the sun to calibrate us and keep evolving ourselves. Okay, and this is why we're seeing an epidemic of these ascension symptoms, where people are actually feeling not very good and they're going up and down like a roller coaster ride. It's because this whole Schumann resonance effect, which we can just call human resonance, is based on the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness grid is actually having a negative effect on our own individual ascension process or our own evolvement. And really it's our own evolvement and personal growth and evolution and ascension, which is then indirectly can then work on a collective. It's that way around. So what I was told to do is to create a system. Okay, obviously one, educate people, and this is what we're doing here with my YouTube channel and a whole lot of my videos that I do. And also being an energy healer, we're able to help people with their health problems and increase manifestation, get them back on the track in the flow of things. But also empower people with the tools to keep themselves in these higher levels of consciousness, these higher level of densities or dimensions. So therefore, when we are getting the downloads of information from the sun, from our source, that we can calibrate those and therefore continue to evolve and ascend with our sun, with our source. And this is what the system is all about. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video, I'm going to quickly show you what is part of this tool system that you can have at home and how it's going to impact you on so many levels at home in regards to incorporating them within your lifestyle. Okay, and we're going to talk about each tool and what they're used for. Some of these tools you'll see before, but what I really need to point out the fact is that every single tool that I have got here is a cubit length that was given to me from source, not through anybody else. I didn't learn this from anybody else. I learned the design of some of the tools, but the cubit length measure is very specific. Okay, I did not get this from anywhere else. This is the only place you'll find this at Truly Holistic, and it was given to me for this reason, to improve this calibration process of the downloads of information for Ascension. So every tool within the system is based on that cubit length. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first tool that you'll get within this Ascension activation pack is a coil, an AccuVac coil. Okay, now this AccuVac coil, you may look at it and think, hey, yeah, I've seen bigger. And as I say, it's not about the size of the coil. Okay, obviously one advantage having a bigger coil is a bigger surface area. Okay, for example, let's take an example here. This is the coil I was using beforehand, and as you can see, look, the surface area is different, right? There's a bigger surface area here. Now, because this is designed by the activation cubit length, this makes this one more powerful. So all of a sudden, straight away when I was designing these tools, and as I said, I've had these tools, been using these for a wee while myself, and I always do that. I work on myself, and because I'm very sensitive and also channeling, a highly intuitive healer, I feel the difference, and I get all these downloads. I'm just getting downloads like crazy, information that intuition is just skyrocketing, like even for me. And I want to share this ability with you because we all have this ability, right? So all of a sudden, I drop this one down. We don't use this one anymore. And for anybody that's been doing energy sessions with me here at Truly Holistic will know that I use this particular coil. Okay. Now, this is based on the AccuVac coil, of course. And to give a quick brief breakdown of what an AccuVac coil does is, just like the name, AccuVac, it vacuums in negative energy one end and then transforms it into light, and then when you turn around the other end, it gives light back out. Okay, I always like to call it the energetic equivalent to a dialysis machine. For anybody that's had and knows of people that have got kidney failure, is they get hooked up to a machine that the blood gets pulled out of the body, goes through a machine where they clean the blood, and then the blood gets put back into the body. So this is essentially what this does at an energetic level. And if anybody wants to know at more depth of what an AccuVac coil does, I've got a video on my YouTube channel. Go and check that out. And what we do here is we draw what essentially the coil does, and the way that you can use it is you rotate it like this. Okay, I don't need to rotate it. The tool does it for me. Clients have thought, well, it's moving, and it's like, yeah, I'm not moving it. The coil is moving it, because what's happening is when we're drawing and pulling out dark material, we call those black cube particles, which is creating dark matter or material, black goo, it's coming out in the wave of a vortex, and hence why it's good to rotate the AccuVac coil. And even if once you get more sensitive to the tool, you'll realize you don't even rotate it yourself anymore. It just does it because it's drawing that wave of a vortex out. Okay, and then draw that negative energy out, and then we flip it around and place that positive energy back in. So when would you use this tool? This tool is great for removing inflammation and pain out of the body. When we think about inflammation and pain, inflammation is just a non-compatible field made up of particles that are creating a negative manifestation, and that negative manifestation is then pain and inflammation. Okay, because when we look at pain, pain's a signal. Okay, it's not really anything physical to pain. It's a feeling, right? Now, it's a feeling that the body's communicating to say, hey, there's something not right here in this part of the body. It hurts. Okay, so what we do is we listen to the body, right? Which is what a symptom is. It's communication from the body. And instead of numbing your body's communication by taking a pharmaceutical drug and working on a symptom, we just go straight to the root cause of the problem. We know that there's some field in that area that is making my body signal or communicate to me that I've got pain and inflammation there. So what we do, for example, if it's a sore shoulder, we just go the end that draws the negative energy out, we just rotate it in that area. Okay, and you can just pull the coil back, and you'll feel resistance because the coil is vacuuming and being pulled to that area. And you draw that out, and you just go in that area until you feel like the resistance is no longer there, and you just keep pulling it back, pulling it back, pulling it back, and just keep doing that until the person or yourself all of a sudden realizes, oh, the pain is not as bad as it was, or it's gone. Okay, and then what we do once we know that's the fact, we swap it around. And then we fill that void or that space of that energy that we've pulled out back with light, okay? Because what we're actually doing is we're drawing the energy, the field out. So there's a bit of a hole left there. And then when we draw it back to fill that void or that hole up, we put light matter. So white particles to then create positive manifestation, and therefore the light, the vibration that area needs, okay? So that's what the AccuVac coil is really great for. The guy, Slim Spilling, who created the AccuVac coil, noticed that it was a vacuum for pain, right? Removing inflammation, non-compatible field. But the other thing he noticed was it also changed behavior. Okay, so you, for example, if you're in a heated discussion or argument with somebody, there's not very good behavior. The vibration is lowering, okay, through the intent you're using, okay, because that's what you then manifest. And what he noticed was that if you just placed again the end that is drawing that negative energy into itself, if you just place that in the direction where somebody is argumentative or not in a good mood, what he noticed was minutes later that person's mood would pick up. Okay, the behavior would change from a chaotic one to a more harmonious one. Okay, and what you do is you draw that out and then you just swap it around and give the light energy, activation energy into that area, and all of a sudden you could change a person's behavior. So it's really it's a wonderful tool and an amazing tool. And another reason why I like to keep it nice and compact, like you'll see with a lot of these other tools, is it's convenient, because then you'll use it more, right? You can put it in your handbag, or you can put it in a pocket. You can carry it around with you whenever you require it. And one thing, Slim Sperling always said that this should be part of everybody's first aid kit. He always had it in his jacket pocket. So, you know, these are wonderful tools, and you can also use this tool with a couple other tools, which we'll mention a little bit later on, in regards to potentializing water, restructuring water, putting light into your water, because, you know, we're mainly made up of water when we look at a physical level. So that's very important. So what we'll do is we'll go into this other tool, which is very similar to the AccuVac coil, and that's a feedback loop coil. Okay, again, nice and compact, and we wanted to do this again. Size isn't everything. Okay, it depends on the cubit length, because the cubit length is creating this to be an anchor of a certain frequency or energy to come in and then do a job and create a manifestation. Okay, so again, these are both created through the activation cubit. Okay, and the difference is that Slim always used to say that this was like a garden hose and this is more like a fire hose. Okay, so what you'll notice is it's essentially a coil that's bent back on itself. It's a feedback loop. So what you do, again, let's just take the analogy of a sore shoulder again, is replace that over the shoulder, and what it's doing is it's drawing negative energy out and putting positive energy straight back in. It's just going and coming straight back in. So what it does is it does that, but what you'll probably notice is that to get effects faster, you'll probably want to use this one. But this one can be convenient because, as you can see, it's got a clip here. And what you can do with this clip is you can just clip it on the top of your shirt and just leave it there. If you've got a sore throat, it's going to work on transmuting the field within the throat, because if you've got an infection there, or pain or inflammation there, as I say, that's body's communication to say we need to transmute or change the field in that area. So what you can do is you can just hook that on there, okay, and just leave it, and it'll work on your throat. I've had a client who has used a tool like this one, not this specific cubit length, but places it there to work on their thyroid gland, and she's got to a point where she has massively reduced the dosage she requires for hypothyroidism just by using this. Because what I've noticed with energy sessions with people that have thyroid issues, and we get really good results with it, is that it's an inflamed thyroid. And an inflamed thyroid is just a thyroid that has a accumulation of non-compatible field there. You transmute that field, all of a sudden the thyroid will work better for you. So this is wonderful for that. And as I say, with the clip, you can clip that on your belt buckle or at the top of your pants, and that will work on your lower back pain. So a number of ways of using this tool. It's fantastic. And what we'll talk about here is this potentializing water. If we use these two coils together, and we take a ring, which is part of this package too, let's just say this size ring, which is again made in the activation cubit size. And what we do is we just get the coil. I'll just clip this on. Okay, we just clip the coil on like that, right? And then what we do is we clip the coil on this side too. I'll just move that up. Okay, and we just clip it on like that, right? And what you have there, you just have that on your desk or table. And what that does is it creates the surface area of the coils to be the size of that ring. Okay, so all of a sudden you have it like that. Okay, and I'll just place it down here, and I'll show you in a sec. I've got all the water here. And what you do is you just place your water bowl in it like that. Okay, and what that's doing is restructuring your water. Okay, so as I say, you've got the two coils like that, and you're changing the surface area of the coils into the size of that ring. So you just place water in that area. Okay, So why you do that is you restructure your water, okay? So the water is more compatible to drink. It's getting to the cellular level. It's hydrating you more, okay? And we are mainly made up of water, right? So what I've found with dowsing on that is that if you keep water in that field for 2 days, that's the most potent you can get your water. After 2 days, it will have less of an effect of still restructuring the water. So you have a ceiling of about 2 days. But if you keep that in that field for 10-15 minutes, it's going to have an amazing effect on the water. And therefore, when you drink the water, it will have an effect on you. It's just the longer you leave it within that field, up to 2 days, it just continues to restructure it in a more and add light into the ring, and therefore into the water. And then when you drink the water, then it structures you more. So that's another wonderful way of using both coils and then the rings. So let's get straight into the rings then. So what we do have here, we have 3 rings within this pack of all different sizes, and again, as I say, they're all activation cubit measure. Okay, now the first ring is the size here, which is an 1/8 cubit ring. So we talk about ratios here. So that's an 1/8 cubit ring, and why I made it with this size is because it's wonderful to put over your tap faucet. So when you're, if you're drinking tap water or filtered water, and what I was a huge component of spring water, and I still am. But what I've been doing of late, once I've had all these activation cubit rings, and what I've been doused to do is I've ditched the spring water. And what I'm doing is I'm just placing over my filtered tap water, is just placing this ring over it. And what that does is it restructures the water through the whole pipeline, that where the water's coming through. Okay, so this is wonderful to do that. Okay, so you just slip that over that. Now, other ways that you can use this particular ring is you can place it in your pocket, so it's very convenient to take around. I always like to say to people, and I've done this trick with parties, is this fits nicely over like a beer bottle. And I do these muscle tests where I do a muscle test to check out the strength and balance of a person after they've just had a sip of beer, and usually they're very unbalanced and not structured. And then all of a sudden we place this ring over the neck bottle of that beverage, and it just takes a few seconds. I get them to take a sip of their beer again, and we do the muscle test, and they are rock solid. And again, if you want to know what this muscle test is, I've got videos on my YouTube talking about the effects of structuring water and muscle tests as well. And because what we're doing is we're restructuring the beverage, and therefore when you take the beverage, the beer, it doesn't matter what type of liquid you drink or food you eat, then you uptake that structuring and it structures you. Okay, the more structured energetically you are, the physical manifestation of that structure is going to mean you've got better balance and you've got more strength. Okay, so that's the first size that comes within the pack. Now the second size is a 1/4 cubit measure of an activation ring, and this is a great size to place on like a water bottle like that. So if you're carrying a water bottle around, you can just carry it around and have it like that, and that's just creating a column of light through the water all the time if you're on the go. This is also great to place like on your Wi-Fi router if you just want to. Now what I've come to find is the collective consciousness is a grid or a network, very much like our internet system. And we know the dangers of Wi-Fi, and we know the dangers of 5G and all these sorts of things, which are all the frequency emitters, right? But what I've come to find is we are probably the most potent frequency emitter there is. And why we see so much suffering in our world today is we're not using our own tent the way that we should be. We're using it in a very fearful way, and we're being programmed to be more fearful, and hence we're using our power to manifest more fear and suffering in the world. So just like Wi-Fi, just like 5G and all these things, we are very strong frequency emitters. And what we can do is we can activate ourselves to then create ourselves to be structured in such a way that we then emit that high frequency out, and it affects other people indirectly, right? And that's why I've always said you need to go inwards. It's an individual game that then can affect the collective, and we need to focus on within. And that whole focus of within is evolving with source, evolving with the sun, which is all about ascension. And we can do that activation, bringing that light in, if we place this on our Wi-Fi router as well, and create that to be a more positive frequency emitter instead of giving out that frequency that's trying to lower our vibrations. That's another great way of using this ring. Now, the last ring size that you get is a half cubit measure, and that's that size there. So that's the largest ring you get, okay? And as I said, there was a key to this system was keeping everything compact, okay? Once we get into really, really big tools, then we're not going to be using them a hell of a lot. And a big emphasis of this system was to create a system where you had tools like this that you could use in everyday life and make it very easy for you to use and convenient for you to use. And also some of the tools that we're going to get to are things that we can place on the body and work on our own field 24 hours, 7 days a week. So this is a great tool to, obviously, as I've shown you, put big amounts of water in it and connecting those two coils with it to potentialize your water or any beverage that you want to place within it. Now, this is also wonderful to work and place on areas of the body. So if you've got a sore shoulder, you just place it like that and place it right up there. So it's got a field of energy getting to the shoulder. Same with working on your hand or your arm, you just place it through like that. If you've got a mug of coffee or anything, that you just place it through the ring. Again, it's a light that's going through the ring, okay? And you could place it on top of your head. There's a halo, and you'd create that light column coming through the body. So the way that I use this is very much like now. I'm looking at a camera, okay, while doing this video, and I'm looking at a camera like this, 7-8 hours a day when I'm working with clients every day. And what I do is I place this ring just underneath the camera, so therefore that column of light is going straight through me. Okay, it's keeping me charged high all day, even though I'm in front of a computer, in front of these technologies that give off a lot of positive ionization, the same frequency ionization that creates inflammation in the body. But I know I'm safe, and I know I can bring my best to clients every day if I'm in a field of this activation column, which these rings give. Now, another thing of being within these field of this activation ring, this columns of light that these rings give and these tools give, is that it improves your intuition capability. It gives me a greater connection to my higher selves and my source. So when I'm working on clients and we want to get accurate information and information fast so we can do as many clearings for that person in a session, I want to be on top of my game and being within the field of these tools and this column of light and being connected with the source in a greater capacity allows me to do that. So that's another wonderful thing I use this particular ring for. So far we've talked about the two coils that will be in the pack, okay, and we've talked about the 3 different ring sizes that you get in the pack. Now the next thing, and this is where more about personal items, okay. So first of all, I'm going to show you is bracelets, okay, and we've got 2 bracelets here, okay. So we'll talk about this bracelet first. This is just an activation cubit measure that we've made in a bracelet, and you can just bend it whatever size you like and whatever size your wrist is. So it's easily bendable, it won't break, and this is wonderful for people that are energy healers. If you're a dowser, okay, particularly you're a pendulum dowser, say you're a right-handed pendulum dowser, you place that around your right wrist, right? So you go like that, place it around your right wrist, get the right size, okay, and you could tighten it up if you want more than that. And what that does is it creates the activation of your arm, okay, with that pendulum, because the energy, the ability to dowse is not in the pendulum, it's always been you. That's why now, when I dowse, I just use my hand and my finger. I don't need a pendulum. Okay, but for anybody that's using a pendulum and dowsing, now this enables that arm, that hand, that connector to your dowsing charts and your intuition, so your higher self or source or creator, whoever you're channeling, a greater connection by having it on the hand. Okay, so that's a wonderful way of using it. Now another wonderful way of using it is for anybody that has problems with arthritis in their hands, issues with deformity in the hands, pain in the hands, carpal tunnel problems, problems up the arm, these are wonderful to use. And I have got a story, a healing story in regards to these types of bracelets. Is that I once had a trigger phone, and it was triggering, like, will go gunk, gunk, clink, 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 and there was a lot of pain in here. Okay, and when I put this bracelet on, within 2 weeks, range of movement back normal, no pain whatsoever. So these are wonderful for those sorts of things. Now you get 2 options in regards to this package. You get a bracelet like that, and you get probably a little more advanced bracelet, which has got a little mini AccuVac coil on it. So I'll see if I can zone that in there. It's not really coming up very clear yet. So it's a miniature AccuVac coil, very much like this, but a twisted AccuVac coil, so twisted wire. And what that does, again, as I say, the AccuVac coil is drawing inflammation or drawing non-compatible fields. So if you've got sore hands, arthritic hands, calcification build-up in the hands, or the carpal tunnel, then or pain in the arm, then this is just going to enhance the effect of this activation ring or bracelet. So if you've got a problem with arthritic hands, carpal tunnel issues, and those sorts of things, I would recommend getting probably the one with the AccuVac added on it. But I've also created the 2 options just based on, if you don't have that problem and you like the look of just a bracelet like that, well, you have that option. You know, for some of the guys out there that maybe don't like the way that looks, then they can go with a more simple form. So you get the choice of those. So they're wonderful tools. Plus, because they're a bracelet, you can just wear it all the time, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The other thing it will do is it's creating that activation or connection between you and source all the time. So it's having a systemic effect as well of your field, because it's within your field. Okay, so we talk about, you know, the physical form here, the encoded form, but you have layers of aura or your energy field that goes out about 4 feet away from the physical body. So anything you have on you during that time will have an effect on that field, and these do that too. And that's what's a big part of the system, is we have tools to, you know, to remove pain, to restructure this, restructure that around the home. But I wanted tools that you could personally wear all the time and have that effect working on you all the time. And the bracelets do that. Now, the last thing that is within this system is a pendant. Okay, and I looked at a number of ideas of pendants, and this one's probably the greatest tool out of them all. And this is called an activation wand. Okay, and it is based upon a dragon wand that I was making, and I got an idea from Brian Besco and Twisted Sage too. But as I say, this is from an activation cubit, so a completely different cubit, and I'll show you it now. So that's the pendant there. Okay, it's a beautiful pendant, so I'll just show you what it looks like if you had it on your chest, around your neck. Okay, and this is wonderful because it's at a size, it's a compact size that you can just wear it around your neck, right? And it'll work on you systemically, right? So I'll just stand up now, right, like that. Okay, but what you can do is you can also, it looks like a key, doesn't it? And then what you can also do is take it off your neck or leave it around your neck, and you can just channel light. So you just focus or visualize where you want to channel or put light into or energy into, and you can do that and use intent with it. Okay, you can take it, as I say, off around here, and you can work on an area that's got pain in it, or want to work on an area. Now, the thing what this does, okay, and we're going to talk about what this does, is what you'll notice is there's a loop at the top, there's a loop at the bottom. Okay, now it's connecting two things together through a vortex, as you can see there. Okay, now when we look at the light activations that are coming through the sun, okay, because they're not coming from the sun, they're coming through the sun is a gateway. It's the light activator. Okay, it's the bringer of light. Okay, and as I say, there's not one sun, it's each person has an energy source here. That's your sun. Okay, when you look up at the sky and you see the sun in the sky, you're looking only through your eyes, you're not looking through everybody else's. So it's your experience. Okay, it's the light bringer. Okay, and as I say, this whole system's all about activations. Okay, if we can continue you continue activating yourself to evolve to higher levels of consciousness, which Ascension is all about. It's all about those light activations that are coming through Source, through the Sun, to then connect with you. And it does it through a column of light. But the column of light is a vortex, okay? And it's a vortex of particles, okay? So what this symbolizes is here is Source or Sun, and this is the column of light that then comes and connects to you, okay? So when you wear this around your neck, you have an incredible connection with Source and Sun, and an activator of you systemically. Okay, and that's what I've come to find. When I did dowsing with my dowsing rods, I quite often ask, what's the field of energy? How far does it activate? For example, when we dowse on harmonizer and those sorts of things, we get into kilometers of a radius or circumference of effect. Now, when I dowsed on this, it just said infinite, because what it's doing, and what I didn't realize at the time, it's source to you. Okay, so what you can do is, and what I've come to find is, you can do a scanning of the body and allow this to just go to where it needs to, and that's what I quite often do. And quite often what it does, it goes to areas that need activating, bringing back up to those higher densities of energy to create a better connection between Source and yourself. Because when we hear about being one, okay, it's not being one with as a collective consciousness, it's being one with your Source, because that's what Ascension is. Source is evolving, and it wants you to come along with it. Join the party, right, so to speak. Okay, it's about being one with Source, which is an individual connection, not a collective. Okay, so this is wonderful in regards to this. This was kind of the last addition to the set, or this pack, and I'm amazed by the last few days of using it and learning about it. It's been unbelievable, and the people that have been within the field, or having it around their neck, or me working on their body with it, have been amazed by it. Okay, people that have had lower back issues with nerve pain all the way down to their foot, and we worked on that area, and it's just, I've just scanned on them, it goes straight to the area. We go down that person's leg, it just went down there, and all of a sudden this person could feel a sensation change. It just went all cold all of a sudden, all the way down the leg, and all of a sudden the next day noticing a big change in regards to their pain, their lower back pain and that nerve pain going down the leg, just by the use of this, not using any intent at all, just channeling it, using what this can do. Okay, so I'm very excited about this system. And what you'll also get is a little pamphlet of information about each one of these tools, a brief explanation of what they do and how you can use it. And what I'm going to do here on YouTube and a number of social media areas is I'll be talking a bit more in depth in regards to how we use these tools, doing little webinars and how we use these tools as well. So don't feel like you're going to be in the dark if you buy this system, okay? Buy this pack, this Ascension Activation Pack. If you have any questions, you can always email me or get in touch with me through the website. But as I say, I'm going to be doing webinars about each tool and talking more specifically how we can use it and how you can keep yourself in these higher densities of energy, which is going to allow you to evolve, because we need to stay away from those lower densities dimensions, which are all fear-based, which is when we look at the world today and we look at the suffering that's happening on a collective level, we do not want to be part of that. We need to go inwards. We need to stay in those higher densities, those higher dimensions, to keep us in a state where then we can help other people around us. But it's all an individual game. As we always hear, we cannot love someone else if we can't love ourselves. And that's all about doing the work for ourselves. Now, the work that we do ourselves, if you're a mother, if you're a father, you need that time to do work on yourself, because that is only in the long run going to impact on a positive level with your children and people around you, because you are going to be thinking higher vibrationally. You're going to be getting greater intuition and channeling and downloads of information, which happens when you have a greater connection to Source, which is Ascension, which is only going to impact everybody else in a positive way, because you are the greatest frequency emitter of all. Okay, when we talk about 5G, we talk about Wi-Fi being very dangerous. I tell you, the most dangerous frequency emitter out there is a human being. Okay, we need to take back control and realize the power that we have in our intent capability. Okay, and using it in the right manner. And if we can use these tools and activate ourselves, that then we can be compatible and therefore calibrate the energy, the downloads that are coming from source, from the sun, then we can create a huge difference in regards to a collective, but we must do it on an individual basis first. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and I look forward to, if you want post any questions below or anything of that nature, go ahead and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And as I say, we'll be doing more information based on this. But if you'd like to buy this pack, the Ascension Activation Pack, it's on my website, on my product store, and go ahead and get it. So until next time, bye.